Shalom. So I want to do a quick video regarding the things that are kind of happening during this time. So I guess I'll name this video The Days of Darkness. I'll read this scripture to start off, Exodus 10:21. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thy hand towards heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. So you kind of seeing this right now. Now again, I don't know if this was figurative or literal darkness. I mean, it could have been some type of remind me of that movie, the Mist, where it was like literally like a fog that came upon the place, and then all these crazy things started happening. All these crazy insect animals that you read about in the Bible, like the scorpions and all those type of things, started coming out of the mist, and it just started like devouring people. Like, it's a good movie if you haven't seen it. It's called The Mist. I think it came out, what is this, 2020? I don't know. It probably came out maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But you can also look at this in the figurative sense, where you're starting to see this now, like with the COVID-19. People are afraid of the COVID-19. Some people are probably afraid to go out. I was at CVS yesterday, and it was like a lady. She was in there with her daughter. She was like some type of colored lady, and she was like, she had her mask on. Her daughter had her mask on, and her daughter was like leaving out. She was telling her daughter, make sure you put some what is that stuff called? The stuff you put on your hand, the antibacterial stuff you put on your hand. She was telling her daughter to do it. She sounded kind of like she was kind of paranoid or something. And I guess people see me now. I don't walk outside with a mask. I mean, if they require it, I have some like dust mask in my cabinet that I use like when I'm cleaning my apartment. But I don't like walk outside with a mask. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the pestilence, because I know for a fact that if it's meant for you to get this pestilence, you're gonna get it. It doesn't matter if you have on like a mask, or if you have on one of those what are those things called, that the painters use, those real masks, like the painters use to, that they use when they're, so they don't inhale the fumes. I don't know what those things are called, but those are like real, kind of like a real mask. Those are kind of expensive, not like the little rinky dink mask that you buy like 50 for $10. Like, those are like the real masks. I forget what they're called, but I think you know what I'm referring to. Um, so I don't even like walk around with, I don't walk around with anything, so I'm not afraid. I just, I've been kind of a germaphobe anyway, so I don't touch my face after like if I go to a grocery store and I'm using a credit card machine. I don't touch my face until like I come home and wash my hands, or if I'm out somewhere, like, just wash my hands with water and soap. So I've always been kind of a germaphobe like that anyway. So, but I'm not gonna be afraid of this, because like I said, whoever's supposed to get it, they're gonna get it. So, I guess people are paranoid, but this is the darkness that's kind of being felt. Plus, you seeing the economical darkness, where people are worried about having problems getting on unemployment. They're worried about getting the stimulus check, worried about paying their rent, worried about if their job is even going to be there if the economy ever opens back up. I mean, because this could be the end of this civilization as we know it. And it looks like the states are kind of going back to, the states are kind of bucking the federal government with certain things like these lockdowns and things like that. So you have to remember that the United States is kind of new. Everybody wasn't all united at one. All of these 50 states were not united at one point. They used to be individual kingdoms, kind of like how Europe is. Europe is like individual countries, but they're all under one union. But they're still individual nations, like Sweden, Germany, Great Britain, France, etc. So it was kind of like this here too, South America as well. I don't know what the original borders were prior to this, the entity that we're under now, America, but it used to be individual kingdoms, or it could have been, coalitions of, several kingdoms joined together, but it wasn't all 50 states in one. So, but yeah, it's you're starting to feel the darkness though. You starting to feel it right now. And, you see a lot of sad faces. People are upset that they can't go party, and, they can't take a vacation. Like my aunt keeps, every time I talk to my aunt, she keeps talking about, oh, she wonders if it's going to be back up so she can go to Las Vegas at the end of the year. I'm like, well, people are dying around you. So I mean, Las Vegas should be the last thing on your mind. I mean, I guess you kind of see looking for the the light at the end of the rainbow, but I'm sorry, the light at the end of the tunnel. But it's like, well, you still, it seems kind of trivial to be worrying about something like that when, again, people are dying, people are sick, people are losing their jobs, and you worry about going to Las Vegas if that ever opens up. And even if Las Vegas does open back up, it's going to take some time for them to get everything back in order. Like, they're going to have to get their food distributors back up and hire people. People might have moved on. People might have went back to their own countries. I mean, anything. You don't even know. But you don't even know if it's going to ever open back up. What was that movie, Resident Evil, where you saw Las Vegas was like a deserted town? I told you they show you things. Excuse me, they show you things in movies all the time. So, but yeah, you feel the darkness though. I see what this kind of means in a figurative sense. You feel the darkness, like you feel all this like evil coming on this place. And then you starting to see the earthquakes and all the tornadoes being ravaging the southern states, Alabama, places like that. So we're coming in a hurricane season. A couple islands got devastated by the hurricanes. I think it was Hurricane Harold or something like that. But yeah, it's getting pretty crazy. So this is my normal. I'm just kind of just staying out of it. Just kind of what they call it, shelter in place. Yeah, it's no reason to be out now. I mean, it's nothing to do. Every time it gets up to like 60 degrees here where I'm in Ohio, so it's not really that, it's still cold. It was snowing. It actually snowed today. It was like snow on the cars last night, so it hasn't really warmed up. But we had a 60-degree day a couple of days ago, and people were already bringing out their motorcycles kind of ready to get going. So I can assume that once it starts getting warm in the different places, they're going to start bringing in the National Guard to try to keep people under, because people are going to start going crazy, and they don't have a job, they don't have any money, they stuck in the house, and there was probably a lot of domestic issues going on right now. People kind of being, you're not used to spending this much time with certain people, so you and your husband and wife might get along, but you're not used to all these problems. Then some people are losing their jobs, they're getting laid off. And then you, on top of that, you worry about the COVID-19. So it's like a perfect storm for discord amongst like married people and things like that. So I guess people just kind of hang in there, ride it out. Still waiting to hear about these reparations for the descendants of slavery. If they ever talk about it, and they should be talking about it. The prophecy is correct. It should be coming up pretty soon. I don't know. Things are probably being discussed in the background. They don't make us privy to everything. Everybody here are just subjects. Yeah, but it's a lot of darkness in this place. It was another scripture where it said, it was in Isaiah 47. Let me go there really fast. This is Isaiah the 47th chapter. And it said, this is talking about the daughter of Babylon, which I assume would be not just America, but like the Western world. All of most of the countries who profited from slavery, including the European Union, Great Britain, things like that. Let's see. So here I'm in 11, Isaiah 47:11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. So you see here where it's talking about like all the sorceries and enchantments and things like that, where they're kind of doing that now, where they're kind of spraying, all these chemicals and stuff on the streets, trying to stop the pestilence, the COVID-19. So you kind of seeing it now. They're probably spraying some type of chemtrails too. I don't know what's in those things, but I know they probably make people sick. I used to see them at my job when I worked in Las Vegas. I used to look out the window. I had like a window seat in the office that I worked in, and I used to see them. They did like a crisscross pattern. And it looks like they were doing some type of, they were on some type of, what do you call it? Like some type of grid, like a latitude, longitude grid. And they just probably programmed. I don't even know if the planes were even manned. They might have been like unpiloted planes, and they're just spraying certain areas. So they make sure they cover like a certain grid on the But yeah, I know they were spraying things, so that could be the cause of a lot of people have like allergies and things like that. But I don't really want to get into the chemtrails right now. Some people look at those as kind of conspiratorial or whatever, but I know they spraying something. I don't know the purpose of it, and I don't know what it is, but I know I've seen it with my own eyes where they were spraying it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, we're kind of in those days of darkness. Kind of a lot of uncertainty right now. And, people will probably have a lot of mixed emotions right now. Fear, uncertainty, stress, fear of being homeless. They're not even like, they're not even, they haven't even passed any type of federal mandate where you can't evict people. I know they're still processing evictions. I know certain states, I think I heard something where California was stopping evictions, but other states are still kind of going along with them. You can kind of understand it in a sense where they say, okay, well, this is something kind of new. So if you just recently lost your job, you should probably have at least 3 months of expenses saved. Most people don't. Most people probably live paycheck to paycheck. But, I guess the way they look at it is, even people who own apartment complexes and things like that, or even like if you're renting a house from someone, they still have to pay their mortgage. So what makes you think that they're going to just let you go if they still have to pay their bills and they still have to pay employees like landscapers, cleaners, things like that? People, they have to pay to get the garbage dumped. They're not going to just let you out of your rent. So you can kind of understand it from their standpoint too. But it's just a lot of sad times, a lot of confusion right now. People don't really know. They're not really saying much about it. And honestly, I don't really think they really know too much about it. They sometimes people think that the government can control everything, but they can't. They don't have any control over this. They're just telling you to stay in the house. And honestly, people should listen to them. This is probably the best thing for you because there's really nothing to be out for unless you have to go to work. Or you just go get some supplies, food, medicine, whatever you need. That should pretty much be it. So, not like any bars or casinos or, restaurants are open, concerts or anything like that. So, a lot of money being lost right now through the economy. A lot of people unemployed. Companies are losing business. I don't think it really matters with the companies, though, because even though they lose money, most of these places are owned by conglomerates. Like, you see, like, any restaurant, let's say a TGI Fridays or something like that. Those places are owned by a conglomerate, meaning that they're probably not even the only place that they own. Like these people have like portfolios of companies. So they might have TGI Fridays, they might have Outback Steakhouse, and they might have a Benihana's all within their portfolio. So they're not really the people who have all the money. They're not really losing anything. Yeah, it's affecting the economy, but the people who work for these companies are really the ones who are being affected the most, not really the companies themselves, unless you own like a small business. That's like a different story. But even the stimulus packages, I think it was something in there for small businesses, so they're going to get some type of support too. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have right now. Just wanted to share my thoughts on the things that are going on right now. All right, that's it. Shalom.